So next up, I'm going to bring in Evan Walters. Evan's going to give you the tricks that you need to literally walk away from this webinar, walk into your finance department, and make more money on every car deal from this car deal forward. He's going to show you how to do that right here, right now, and I'm super excited to share them with you. Evan Walters, get on in here, man.
What up?
Let's go. Evan.
Hey, so I heard money and I had to come join. I knew that I needed to be a part of this conversation. So first, thank you, Glenn, for introducing. I'm Evan Walters. Before I get into it, I wanted to thank each and every one of you for showing up today. I know you're busy, you got a lot going on, and 2 hours is a long time, but I appreciate your time, energy, and effort for being in the room. Surrounding yourself by people that have done it, that will do it, and will help you get there. So again, kudos to you all, to everybody in the room. Let's get back to me, a quick intro. Again, I'm Evan Walters. I definitely didn't start where I am today. I started at 17 years old. I was in the detail department at Dan Cummins Chevrolet, a small town, 9,000 people in Paris, Kentucky. And I was cleaning carpets. I was shining wheels. I was getting those sold deliveries up front. I was organizing the lot. I started at the ground, so I got to see all these different aspects of the business before I jumped feet in, before I jumped all the way in. So once I was doing the detail for a couple of years, I kept getting these keys to new cars for salespeople, for sales managers. I keep hearing about these new houses being built. I kept hearing about these families being built and taken care of, and I wanted a part of it. I no longer wanted to make a couple $100s a week. I wanted to figure out how to make the thousands, how to contribute, to be on a team that's doing more, to be on a culture-winning team, a team that can do anything in the auto industry, do things that were never even thought of in the auto industry. So that's what I did. At that moment, when I got that last key for that Corvette that salesperson drove off in, because it was his own car, his first brand new Corvette. He drove off in it. It clicked something in me where I knew I could do it. So I started getting in the right rooms. Coincidentally, Glenn was my neighbor. So he was a GSM at the time. We did neighborly things. I helped him build a fence. We did barbecues. We did all the things that neighbors do, but we also created that relationship, and he helped me, he mentored me into thinking bigger, thinking outside the box. I definitely wasn't the person to go out of the way to say hello, to talk to strangers, to communicate with customers, but I developed that over time. So my first interview, I asked Glenn, man, what does it take to get me into sales? He said, well, show up to work the next day and let's put you to the test. So I showed up to work. My interview was to sell a car that day. Definitely didn't start very easy. I took 4 ups. It was 9 p.m. I finally got that last subprime or that custom finance deal, pushed it over the curb, and what really put it to the next level, I made $800. That's 2 weeks worth of work in detail. So I knew I was in the right position. I knew if I keep perfecting my craft and getting better, the sky's the limit. So that's what I did for the next 2.5 years. I sold 25 to 30 cars a month, had great CSI scores, customer experience was great. Everything was moving in the right direction. After I sold for a couple years, I got that itch again. I wanted to be something more. I wanted to contribute to a winning team even more than what I was. So what's that next step? It was management. Now, I wasn't ready. I'll admit I wasn't ready to jump right into management. I wasn't ready to jump feet first into management. So they created a position for a couple of us called the triplet position. Now, this position was the hardest position that I've ever had in a dealership. We had to appraise cars. We had to write descriptions on the website. We had to sell 25 plus cars a month with perfect CSI scores. We had to TO any deals. We had to sit in with finance. We had to pencil deals. Literally anything that you can think of in a dealership, we had to experience it with little to no extra pay. So I did that for 10 months, maybe a year, close to a year, and I wanted more. I got that itch. I was ready to dive in. I get the call. I'm sitting out front on point waiting for a customer. I hear over the intercom, Evan, we need you into to Glenn's office. And everybody knows, if you get called, if you're a salesperson or a sales manager, you get called in the GM's office, you've got the GSM, you've got the director, and everybody's staring at you when you walk in. It's either really good or it's really bad. Luckily, in my position, it was really good. There was a piece of paper sitting on the desk, and it said F&I expectations. I sat down on the desk, and I had no idea. I'd never done F&I, I'd never done sales anywhere else. I knew that we had high expectations, but I didn't know what they were. Glenn said, Evan, this could go one of 2 ways. You can deny the promotion, which we completely understand. You can keep selling cars, or you can say yes, but we're holding you to these standards. We're holding you to this expectation. You have to sell 50% VSCs. You have to be above 45% on all your ceramic coating products. You have to run $2,000 a copy or more. And by the way, Evan, I know the industry standard's about 70 deals a month, but we're going to need you to do 150. How's that sound? I said, let's go. I accepted the challenge. I said, let's do whatever we have to do to go to that next level. I knew that that was one of the obstacles standing in my way. So once I accepted that, over the next 5.5 years, like Glenn said, I did over 8,000 contracts running $3,000 a car. By no means did I start there. I remember my first deal, my first presentation, my first menu. I was literally sweating bullets. I was literally sweating. I didn't know what to do. The customer was hitting me with every objection, and I didn't know. I was fumbling the ball. I eventually made it. I got the reserve on the deal. I was able to get some product, but I knew after that deal that this is where I need to be. This was my uncomfortable zone. So I'll challenge each and every one of you. If you're feeling that way, if you're an F&I manager, a GM, an owner, a director, and you're feeling that way, you're in the right room. You're in the right spot to keep pushing through that, and it'll help you develop. So over that 5.5 years, 8,000 contracts, $3,000 a car, and ultimately, I ended up here 2 years ago with Glenn. He's been a huge mentor to me. He created this company where we're able to help. Not only am I able to help and touch the customers that I was in that office, but I'm able to help multiple 70 to 80 different finance managers at the time throughout the nation create their craft, develop their craft, and to help them help other customers. So the impact's a lot greater. As you all know, if you've known Glenn, that's one thing that he does. He reaches out and he helps impact as many people as he can throughout the nation, throughout the world. And I wanted to be a part of that. So now I'm on the 800% club team. I have been for 2 years. I've rocked with the GM and owners for a little bit, but over the past year, I developed the 800% Elite F&I, and that's kind of what I'm going to go over with today. So there's the backstory of where I was, what I've done, and kind of where I'm at today. But today I'm going to share with you 5 ways, and if you're taking notes, please write these down. 5 ways to be the most profitable that you can in 2024 and beyond, regardless of the front end grosses are going down, the rates are higher, more subprime or custom finance deals. There's going to be negative equity. If there's not any right now, you're not seeing it. You're going to see it in the future. All these little obstacles are basically excuses. I'm going to give you 5 tips, 5 tricks that's going to help you get over that today. So once you take these back to your office, if you're a finance manager, or back to your director, or back to however you can get it to the finance office, take these back, and I guarantee you're going to see more profitability right out of the gate. So number one, we've got to have a routine. We have to have a routine. So yeah, I can start telling you all these tips and tricks and different ways to increase numbers, but if you don't have that foundation, if you don't have the right person in that seat, you don't have that person that's willing to invest in their self-development and start a morning routine, because as we all know, if you're following Glenn, you know the morning 5. Morning 5 is going to be no snooze. No snooze button. There's no reason to hit the snooze button, wake up 30 minutes before work, put on a wrinkly polo, and head into work, be there a minute early. I know how it is. We all know how it is. No excuses. No snooze. We're also going to write our gratitude and goals. We're going to write down our gratitude and goals. Why are we thankful? Why are we grateful? Start out the morning positive. And we got to do these things daily. That's the key. We've got to track our goals. So do we want to do 5 deals for $25,000 and 75% VSC? What are our goals throughout that day? The next one's going to be a physical activity. We need a physical activity. No phone. No phone or no email. The physical activity could be going for a walk that morning, going for a 3 or 4 mile run, lifting weights, whatever is considered physical activity. And you can obviously ramp it up as you go. But starting out, it could be as simple as going for a walk. Get active. No phone or emails in the morning first thing. Make sure you do your gratitude and goals. Make sure you go through the steps before you dive into that negative world or to that busy world. After we do that, we're going to go to send an encouraging message. We have to send out an encouraging message. Anything that we can do positive, anything that we can uplift ourselves and uplift others, that's what we need to start our day out with. That's the first one. The first one's going to be a routine. Write these down. Number 1's a routine. Once we get our routine and we get our solid foundation, what's the second thing that you do? What would you do next? Well, I'm going to time block my day. I'm going to plan. We don't have a plan and we're just going out there and shooting in the wind. We don't have a target or a plan, more than likely not going to work. Time block your day. And you might be saying, what does time blocking look like? So time blocking for me is a couple different things. 6 to 10 p.m. And you obviously this might be a little bit different for you or your store, but from 6 to 10 a.m., I'm doing my morning five. I'm doing my faith, my fitness, my family. I'm getting that sweat in. I'm making sure to take care of my body, my physical, my mental self. And I'm going to prepare for the day. Once I get into that office, I want to make sure I've got my pens ready. I've got my contracts ready. I've got my iPad charged. I've got my DocuSign or my digital signing ready. I'm ready to go for the day. If the customer comes in right then, I'm ready to contract the deal. What am I doing next? I'm building relationships with my reps during that time. Sending them text messages. Hey, what are the programs looking like right now? Are you guys looking for 650s, 750s? Are you doing 84 months? What are the rates looking like through your programs? How are we building those relationships with those managers and those reps? 10 to 12, I'm conducting a menu role plays or a presentation role plays. Make sure, and a deal doesn't count. Doing a deal, you can't say, I've done one deal, so now I have to do 4 role plays. You have to get in front of detailed people, sales managers, customers and service department, your GM, your owner, I don't care who it is. We're going through the motions. We're role playing at least 5 times a day. The more that we do it, the better that we get, the easier that it's going to be for each other. So I found when I was in that difficult stage of barely presenting the menu, presenting products I was comfortable with, I had to break out of that zone. The only way to do that was repetition, was daily repetition. 5 times a day, you're going to role play. Then I'm going to prep my daily CIT list. I know everybody says, oh yeah, my CIT is good now. There's a lot of digital contracting, and you should be under, I would say, 8 days. Back then it was 10. Back then you had to be funded within less than 10 days. So I would make sure that I'm highlighting, I'm marking who's involved with the deal, the salesperson, the sales manager, the bank rep. I'm making sure it's either red, green, or yellow. Is it high priority, or is it okay, I can get it funded within the next few hours? I'm making sure to contact those people and get those tips. So those are just some of the things throughout the time blocking list. And we go over that in 800% Elite F&I. So definitely time block your day. Number 3, again, write these down. It's going to make you millions of dollars, I promise. Number 3, 7 in 7. What does that mean? 7 in 7. That means that we've got 7 targets that we need to track on a daily basis, and we should be able to do it in less than 7 minutes. One of the key players or the key factors in that, do we have the right tracking system? Do we have the Stone Eagle? Do we have the Impact? Do we have Tail Light? Whatever system that you use to easily track your metrics in F&I. If you're an owner, a GM, a director, we need to make sure those tools are available for our F&I managers. We can't hold them accountable to do those things, to track those numbers, if there's no way to do it. Make sure that they have some type of system. I personally like Stone Eagle. It's very good, very easy. You can go in and click through numbers pretty quick, see what kind of percentages, what kind of numbers, what kind of gross, and everybody can be on the same page. So what are those 7? The first one of those 7, month-to-date deal gross. Month-to-date deal gross. So how much gross have we made so far throughout the month? Number 2 is month-to-date deal count. How many deals have we actually done? Month-to-date deal count. Third one is gross pace. Gross pace. What are we on pace for? We don't know where we're going or how we're getting there. How are we going to do it? We can't just throw a random number there and expect to hit the number. We have to know where we're at and what kind of gross we need to get to our certain target. Number 4, so it's going to be deal pace. Where are we on pace for? You set your target for 150 deals or 100 deals that month, and you're halfway through the month and you're only at 20 deals. Well, we got to figure out how to get the deals. We got to figure out how many deals we need to hit our goal. Got to track that kind of stuff. Number 5, current PVR. How much am I making per car? Am I doing $18.50 and 69 cents? And I need to be at $22.50? Well, how many deals does it take me? Do I need to do to get to that number? Is it possible? Tracking your PVR is massive. Number 6, VSCs. VSC percentage. Where are we at? I would put how many VSCs you've sold and what percentage that you're at. Get it as in-depth as you can. Track every single metric that we can. It makes it a lot easier to obtain the goal. So VSC percentage. And our next one is going to be our ancillary products. And I put ancillary because different people, there's different pay plans that get paid different ways. Obviously, the finance manager is going to work the pay plan. So ours was ceramic coating. I would always put my ceramic coating right below there, know how many I've sold, what percentage, and able to track that. Some people it's gas, some it's tire and wheel, and if you want to do all the above, obviously the more the merrier. So those are the seven, 7 and 7. If you don't have those, write those down. 7 and 7, month to deal, month to date deal gross, month to date deal count, gross pace, deal pace, PVR, BSC, and all your ancillary products. Track those daily. We've got a planner, 800% Elite F&I. We've got a planner that makes this super easy. As soon as you sign up for the group, it's going to show, hey, here's your planner, and here's how you track it. It lays it out super easy for you. So definitely have that available. Number four, and this is hugely important. I think it's underestimated. Work with a lot of dealers and a lot of dealerships throughout the nation and in Canada, and it's definitely underutilized. We've got to actively build our lender portfolio. Actively build our lender portfolio. This is massive, especially with what I mentioned just a second ago. When I said we've got those high rates, we've got negative equity, we've got lower credit or custom finance deals. How do we get out of those scenarios? What's our best way to leverage out of those scenarios? Have an arsenal full of lenders. We have to have those lenders, that Foresight, that Exeter, that Global, that Regional, all those more subprime or lower prime credit banks, lenders. We've got to have those available. We've got to have our credit unions that battle each other. We've got to have our credit unions, because I was just up in Michigan at our main store, and they were very heavy credit union customers. We have to have those credit unions. Where are we losing business? And let's see if we can acquire those lenders to do indirect financing so that we can capture some reserve at least. Gives you another opportunity. So definitely underutilized. Building our portfolio. Make sure to leverage those deals and those lenders together to acquire. I would say on average, a good goal would be to acquire one every single month. Yeah, we've got our captives and we got our people that we need to send our deals to, but we also need to diversify it. It's like they talk about in investments and investing your money. You got to diversify it. You got to split it up. How are we going to have the opportunities that the customer needs if we don't have the banks? We have to start there. So having the lenders is massive. Number 5. This is the last one I'm going to wrap it up and leave you with today. It's going to be train daily. Obvious, right? That's why you guys are in here. Train daily. And I'm talking about the F&I manager specifically. So if you're an owner, a GM, a director, make sure that the resources are available for that F&I manager. Now, if you're the F&I manager and it's not, there's no excuse not to invest in yourself. There's no excuse not to invest in something. I'm not saying you have to invest with 800%, but invest in something that will help better self-develop yourself, and you can learn from other people that have actually done it, that have sat in your seat, so that you don't have to go through those trials and tribulations like most people do. You're not at it alone. It's great to have a community to back it. Make sure that we're training daily. Now, I'll break it down for you too. What does train daily mean? I know it's broad. So the first thing, we talked about it a little bit, role play presentation. And I do it at least 5 times a day. You got to do it every single day. When I say daily, it's daily. It's not like once every other day or once a week or whatever you feel like it. It's like every single day. That's what you should be doing. So role play daily on your presentations. Be enrolled in some F&I training. Be enrolled in some F&I training. Again, I mean, I've sat in the seats and I've done it, but I'm not saying that you have to learn from me. Learn from somebody else other than yourself and the people at your dealership, so that you can get other outside perspectives that can help you grow and lift up not only yourself, but the team. Stay up to date on the lender programs. I'm just going to put lender programs. So I know we talked about acquiring lenders, but you also need to stay educated with the lenders programs. You need to be on the email list so that they notify you when stuff changes. You also need to get into your dealer track, your Route 1, your Reynolds, whatever it is, and make sure that we're staying up to date on those programs. They change every single month. They change almost weekly. I mean, they're changing a lot. They're moving with the market. So the more educated that we can be with these lenders, the better chance that we have on closing that customer down, getting them the best deal. And what we say all the time in 800% Elite F&I, how can we be the most transparent, clear, and convenient for the customer? That's what it's all about. But we can tie all this back together And it all comes down to these three words. How can I make this more transparent, more clear, and more convenient for that customer? Transparent meaning I'm laying out every single option that they have available. They're going to know their terms, they're going to know their rates, they're going to know the cost, they're going to know everything up front so that I can be fully transparent. Clear meaning I'm going to present my products in a way that they understand them. I'm not trying to hide things or put things into deals or not explaining into depth. I'm being very clear on what they cover and why they need it. Convenience, it's an obvious factor. Convenience, and that's a big thing in the auto industry right now. It's like, why does it take 3 hours to sign up a deal? Why does it take 30 minutes from when the finance manager gets the deal for them to leave the office? How can we do it in 15? How can we do it in 12 minutes? How can we make it the most convenient for the customer? And I'll tell you, there's a lot of different ways that we can do it, but we need to stay in tune with that customer and really listen to what they want and actually give it to them. Those three things you definitely need to focus on: transparent, clear, and convenient. If you don't take anything else away, those are very important. This one, there's two left. Next one on Train Daily is going to be deal audits. Deal audits. So are we doing deal audits? And I'm not just meaning checking through your last 3 deals to see if you sold a VSC or not. I mean, do an actual audit. What does an audit mean when, I'm just going to use GM for example, because that's the franchise I was with. They would come in and audit your store. It would take all day. They would dive through 100 freaking deals, go through every piece of paper. If you didn't have one piece of paper, they're docking you for the rebates. Like, we need to be that in tune with us as finance people, as finance directors, owners, whoever's involved. We need to dive into those deals. Where are we missing opportunities? Okay, yeah, it was great. It was a $4,500 deal and you sold VSC. If it was a 45, we probably could have got 65. If they bought VSC, why didn't they get GAP? If they bought VSC and GAP, why didn't they get ceramic or the tire and the wheel? If we went through Huntington Bank and got a 5% flat, could we have gone through GM, got the 2 points, gone 75 months, and picked up on reserve? Like, where are we lacking? Not saying you're not doing a great job, but we can always improve. We can always improve. So those deal audits help us locate those little areas of improvement, those opportunities of improvement that can boost you from the 1,500 to the 3,000. It's not massive shifts of different ways to present or different techniques. It's the little tweaks. It's the little things that a lot of finance managers and directors and owners, they don't want to go through because they're comfortable, they're complacent. They're running $1,500 a car, selling 40% VSC, but they're making $25,000 a month, so they don't care about tweaking it up that extra notch. We have to care. We have to care about moving that needle every single day. So doing the deal audits. And the last one I'm going to leave you with, your daily, and I say daily a lot, and you'll hear it from Danelle, Glenn, and myself, daily DIT. Get the money in the bank. Not only for your own purpose if you're an F&I manager, but for the dealer. That dealership uses that money to go buy more cars. If you have more cars, you're probably going to sell more cars. Sell more cars, you're going to make more profit. You make more profit, you're going to put money in your pocket.